Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Talking Horses as we close out week number 2. Maggie Wolfendale and Andy Serling, and we got a lot to talk about in 11 races. So I think we're going to focus on the races and move from there. And if we have time at the end, maybe we'll rehash a little of yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sound good? All
Does
right.
not sound like, okay, there we go. My mic's being weird, per usual.
You sure it's not you that's weird and your mic is
Right.
an inanimate object is normal?
Yeah, I must channel weird vibes into my mic, which just constantly makes it not work.
Yeah. It's okay. That's the first step is admitting.
I fully admit that.
Head on
I'm a weirdo.
head on over to Naira Bets. Use the promo code SPA250. We'll match the $250 of your initial deposit. Go over to track stats when you're checking out Naira Bets as well. Let's see. I'm guessing we have a money back guarantee $10 win bet if yours comes in second or third. First race here and Del Mar as well. Del Mar's opening day was yesterday. Middle pick 4 somewhere in the card. You find it. I know the first pick 4 is in race 3, so it's probably
You
race 5.
sound like me.
Well,
Whenever I have to do these slates.
it's probably
when you're
race
not
5.
here.
No, I know when it is when it's normal, but with a jump race in the first race, it means the
Confusing.
pick 5 start in race 2, and et cetera, like that. I don't think we run an extra pick 5. Maybe we do. Actually, we do. We mandatory pay pick 5 in race 4.
Oh, okay,
so
great.
that's 2, 4, and 9. 2, 4, and 7. Pick 5. The cross country pick 5. That's 3 at Saratoga, 2 at Monmouth. That'll start with our 6th race. And the show slates. Now we're on YouTube from 1 to 2. And the apps, the various apps. 2 to 3 on FS2, 1 to 4, 3 to 4 on FS1, 4 to 6:30 FS2, and the last half hour will be on YouTube. And if you've got that figured out, you're probably going to win money today because you're one of the 7 smartest people on earth.
I agree.
And
I can't keep it
and
straight.
nothing could possibly go wrong in that.
Never.
Pazarai, right? Anyhow, Maggie is handicapped the jump race.
Because I'm a workaholic, obviously.
I'm lazy, right?
Because
I'm lazy.
No, you are a workaholic. I was just making sure
I'm deranged. Is what I am.
You know, keeping up behind you. Look, I went to L'Imperator.
Let's show Imperator winning the Beverly Steinman while Maggie's talking about.
Can
You
I
have
just
picks
give
here.
a shout out to Jordan Gainford, who rode this horse?
No,
Please.
we already did.
He looks almost impossible to ride. This is a horse that last year, remember, ran off with Trevor McCarthy in the middle of the Belmont Gold Cup. And you watch the early stages
bet
of
him, I
this
remember.
race, and his head is maybe 4 inches off the ground. To ride a jumper going 2 miles and 3/8 and then pick its head up for each hurdle is remarkable. And he keeps him straight. And 2, I just think he's a horse that's probably most well suited to the configurations on a regular flat track that we have here. I am very intrigued by Pick a Number, who that race was insane that he ran over at Haydock in May.
Agreed. I'm rooting for Freddie Flinch here.
Okay, I think
like
he
Patrick,
needed his
who's
last.
one of the owners, and a
Yeah,
good guy.
yeah.
So I'm rooting for those.
And Carey, he probably needed
Better
his
run a
last.
little
He was
better than
third.
the Beverly Steinman.
I agree, but he was coming off of a long layoff, 11 months, and I mean, I've never trained a jumper, but I can imagine.
But you've ridden them.
No, I haven't.
Well, you run in those jump things. You would like to run a jump
That's a
race.
hunter pace. That's really slow.
Would you ride one of those races? If Tom would let
no.
you?
No, not now.
Okay.
Ask me 15 years ago, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
When you were really crazy.
Yeah,
In your
you
really
know
crazy
me.
days. All right. We'll see what happens in race number 1. Looking forward to seeing the AP Smithwick Steeplechase, one of 2 Grade 1 jump races, run here at Saratoga. I've been run here for many, many years. So many great jumpers around. I was around for Flatter and, some of those
Cool.
really Lonesome Glory, some of those
Yeah.
really amazing jumpers. And, of course, you always think of Jonathan Shepard
Shepherd.
when you think of the jumpers.
Oh, I used to love
incredible
getting
run.
to see Jonathan in the paddock every year. He's sorely missed.
Yeah, both he and Tommy Voss, 2 legends of the
Yeah.
game that
Yeah.
are missed, no doubt about it. And I think it's nice to remember some of those. It's always nice to remember the people that were such important parts of the game, and the 2 of them, obviously,
huge up
incredible
here.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely right, and where you're from as well. Race number 2, we'll start with Enigmatic down the rail. Maggie's going to try to beat her. I am not. I think that it was a very strange track. There were a couple of days at Aqueduct where if you took half the races, you'd say, man, it was a gold rail. You took the
It's
other half,
so
you'd say
weird.
it was a closer's track. So,
It felt like early on those days it was a gold rail, and then later on it evened out.
but even
no?
there was some ambiguities even to that. So I'm not. Was she helped by it? I don't know. She ran. Maturity Date got a very good trip to win the other day, but when she did, I'm not trying to beat her. I think she's the controlling speed. I think the track has been The rail has been good most of the week. I think maybe 1 to 1.5 days were sort of speedy, but I don't think it's been a massive bias. But the rail has
No.
been good, and I'm not trying to beat her. But La Vida Sofia, she'll be a price.
I'm going to try one more time with La Vida Sofia. I really liked her in the paddock for a comeback race, but kind of thinking that probably she needed it. I know it was a slower race, but the horses that finished, two of the horses that finished in front of her, came back to run well and to improve a little bit on the Beyer speed scale. And then last time, the turf, it's just not her thing. And I'm going to try with her one more time, third off the layoff. I think this is the right spot for her to maybe capitalize on. But I get it. Enigmatic is the horse to beat. She is the speed from the rail, but she is a little bit of a one-figure horse.
I don't disagree.
But that was
well,
for Linda.
she does
so
have
she
one
could,
other number that's a 70, but I don't disagree. And I think you and I are both a little bit suspect of this horse, Yo Puedo. We'll take a look at her finishing second, I believe, last time at Churchill Downs. And she ran 2 big figures in her last 2 starts. And she is, just from a figure standpoint, the very clear-cut second likeliest winner. And she's got the 2 races to back it up. Speed held together very well. The 1-2-3s finished 3-2-1. But still, I thought the number held up, and I think she's dangerous in here, Mag.
I think so too. We've seen Churchill shippers run very well at the meet so far. I just wish that this Barnes horses have made a better impression when they've shipped here to New York.
I tried one of them, and the horse didn't do any running at all.
Yeah.
Now, maybe it was just a horrendous pick on my part, but that was one of the reasons I have the horse third, you have her fourth. Race number 3, big scratch in here with the number 10 coming out, Devil in Disguise, because whether you liked her or him or not, he was going to take money, and he was certainly a big discussion point. And I'm assuming, looking at the odds left up there, he was clearly the morning line favorite. I don't have the morning line in front of me.
No, he was very tepid morning line favorite at 72.
So you have the 11 Carango on top. I'm ready.
Now, we'll see how much IRAD drives down the price. But you go back.
This horse can't be that short a price even with IRAD, can he? Can he?
No, I would think not. I'm going to try with him. He was bet in that maiden 35. I get it. It's a maiden 35 at Gulfstream. Still, during the technical championship meet, right? No, that's the week after.
No.
Just kidding.
I think the championship meet is Pegasus Day.
It ends on Pegasus.
I think that's the entire meet is Pegasus Day. No,
That
it starts.
in
It
December
starts somewhere
and
in December.
ends
It ends
Florida
with the Florida
Derby.
Derby.
Yeah, okay.
Which was March 30th this year.
They take
And
a lot
right
of-
away, they're no longer champions.
No.
It's very. It's actually it's a difficult time for the horses. They have to get a lot of help because they have to go from being
Therapy
champions to
session.
not. It's really hard for them, the poor things.
Therapy session. Right. So obviously facing a somewhat suspect field that day to be favored first time out. But he did everything wrong in that race and still won.
Okay.
And now gets back to the turf for the first time. I just thought a horse that, he broke slow from the inside. You can't do that going 5/8. He was green while getting out around the turn. He was still green down the lane, and he was able to win by a length going that 5 furlongs. So I just thought getting back to the turf here, like I said, I think he's going to be a decent price in here, and with the favorite scratching.
He's a creative concept in a race where the very best of them are not overly inspiring,
Correct.
like the horse I picked on top, Musical Maestro. Now, I'll tell you what's odd about Musical Maestro. Why wasn't he placed second? And I was actually personally glad he didn't because I like the winner, and I didn't bet exactas and thought he was interesting in here because I believe that when the horse came out, and this was the right DQ, but watch that horse comes out and he bumps Lil Lang. And bumps out into Musical Maestro. So how can you not say he was interfering? I was very surprised by that decision because
could not agree more. And look, they do it again there. And I mean, everybody.
I thought it was the right DQ. I just don't know why they didn't say that it also affected this horse. And the other thing is,
why he was not placed third. I did not get that. I had to go back and watch that several times.
I still think it's wrong. Listen, at the end of the day, he improved a lot. The pace held together in that race. He made a bit of a move. And I just thought he ran well first time, and he's the favorite in the horses right now. I thought he was just the horse to beat. And you obviously don't disagree at all.
I do not disagree at all. I was just trying to get a better price on top. And look, Java Buzz has the go-back races to win here, but are we going to take him off of 15 months away?
I'm not,
and
but
Linda
I'm not
going to
be surprised when he wins this race.
No.
That's the problem I have.
I looked it up. 6-month plus layoff in turf sprints. Linda, in the last 5 years, is only 3 for 25.
She's 0 for 1 over a mile. 0 for 1 over a year on all turf races, and it was one sprint.
Right.
So it's unusual. And it gets back to Linda. She had this horse before. I don't know what to think, but I'm not going to This is never a horse I would let beat me in a pick 5, but also not a horse I would ever bet to win.
Right.
But I think he's dangerous because
I will
he's got
say,
racers to drown these horses.
this horse owned by GMP Stables, they have the farm now,
Correct.
and a lot of horses that have convalesced there have come back to run pretty well.
Can I spend like the dark days over there convalescing?
I will join you gladly.
Maybe midway through the meet, you think, yeah, let's just go
I mean,
over
it
there.
looks
Let's do
gorgeous.
that.
I can't wait to visit.
I'm game. Royal King. Let's take a look at Royal King's turf sprint. This was the one turf sprint this horse ran back last year, and this horse ran. I mean,
did he though?
did he run well enough?
Nobody else moved.
But did he run well enough to win here? Maybe not, but at least it's his best effort ever, and he does get back to the turf. I mean, you've got him 4th, I've got him 3rd. Neither of us love him, but I think you have to admit he can be a player in here. If the 5 doesn't run, then and the 6 is okay. But the 6 is no superstar.
Right. I don't know.
There was nobody else I wanted here. Was there anybody else you wanted here?
That was for Maker. Right. That's why I got him 4th. I mean, I can't, and I scratched into him being my 4th pick in here. So I don't know. He wasn't for me.
Okay.
He'll beat me, but nobody else. I couldn't use anybody else in front of him, though.
All right, Maggie, a little creative with Karango. Not particularly creative. Race number 4. I had 2 horses I wanted to bet today. One of them scratched. Thanks, Linda. I'm mad at her, by the way, but I'll discuss that with her. Race number 4. Race number 4 is a tricky, tricky race. And we'll start with the race where you've taken past tense on top. And
maybe
you've
this
gone to
is a cop-out pick.
I don't know if it is or isn't. I don't know. I didn't like that race. That was my problem. This horse ran fine. I thought got a pretty good ride from Kendrick. The problem I have is you just see the second place finish. But she really didn't do any running. She's just lumbering along with the field.
But isn't that what you want in these kind of races?
Maybe. I guess the question becomes, there are several sort of wise guy-y horses. Not wise guy. There are horses to discuss.
I clearly was not wise, and I'm not a wise guy.
No, but there are horses that you can go in that direction. None of them have to run. And this is a very logical horse if they don't.
The only one I thought that could be was the 3, but you're not going to get that big of a price. You went to the 2, a first-time starter going a mile and a half.
I want to talk about the 3.
Because
the 3 has a big pedigree to run long on turf.
Huge. And she looks enormous. On her replays, she looks like a giant.
I've got this stat for Christophe. He's 0 for 23 synthetic to turf with maidens and routes over the last 5 years. Now, to be fair, 10 of them have hit the board, so maybe they're due. But you look at Jitterbug, right? They ran her on synthetic first time. She got turf. She ran okay, but she didn't get it done. And she did run okay. I think she's certainly live out of that race. Yeah. And I just sort of ask myself, why haven't we seen this one on the turf? Now, maybe Christophe would say because I wanted to run her long, and they weren't running long maiden races at Gulfstream. And that's fully possible. The problem I also had, is the production from this dam has been pretty uninspiring.
Yeah. I would agree. There's been one winner from 3 runners, and that horse was very mediocre winning on the synthetic.
Yeah, so you've got her 2nd, I've got her 3rd. Do I think she could win? Of course.
Yeah.
She absolutely win.
And then the other negative with her is that race in May at Gulfstream. I mean,
leaving her down there that long.
Was entering a maiden
why
claimer?
Wouldn't you bring her back to New York, where at least there's the possibility of getting into a maiden race going long?
Jitterbug and
yeah, so I'm like the May 24th race was a 1 3/8 race that got rained off.
Right.
Now Christophe going to say I have different horses for that race. If they were dying to get this girl on the turf, they would have brought her up here. That's what bothers me.
You kind of have to. There's a handful of negatives and there's a handful of positives with her.
And if she's 5 to 1, I have no problem with somebody wanting to bet on her. It's just not for me. That's it. And then there's Ms. Sidonia on the outside. You've taken the complete toss on her, and I don't blame you. You and Aragona, and you guys are probably right. She got left in her turf race 2 back. She ran well behind Cy B, who's pretty good. And then, I mean, her race was over 2 strides out of the gate last time, right? What happened last time?
Andy, she did not.
She lost contact with the field.
She did not look good in the
Are you on early today?
Yeah.
Well.
I will compare.
Well, so this is a good horse to pay attention to Maggie for, because I remember you didn't like her last time. I remember very strongly you didn't like her last time. And if she looks better to you, that's got to be a good sign, right?
And I really think she's one that appreciates some give in the ground.
Okay, fair.
And she's
not
not
getting that
getting
here.
it, uh-uh.
No, she's not getting it here. And I mean, her last race was ridiculous.
I mean,
she
look.
couldn't even keep up with the field.
Louis Saez getting on is probably a good thing. Because you know that Louis is going.
But
I
if she
don't think
doesn't run,
that
she doesn't run. It doesn't matter.
Johnny
Who,
was try-
the greatest
I
jockey in the
agree.
world could be on her. It doesn't make any difference.
I mean, I thought Johnny,
So-
encouraged her, but
Thus,
had nothing.
sun-kissed soiree.
let's hear it, my friend.
Oh, this horse has a gigantic pedigree to go along on the turf,
Gigantic,
right?
but come on. I mean, has not missed a beat.
Graham,
since
are you
coming
Maggie
in
suggesting
for
you're not
April.
capable of getting a horse
know
ready
he
to go 12
is.
furlongs off its debut? Maggie is insulting you. Really, I think this is really embarrassing.
Graham knows that. He's
Really?
one of my favorite
she's
people.
just no, she only likes one English trainer. I'm not even sure she likes him, to be honest with you. She just married him. I don't know. This horse has a ton of pedigree. Is a foal
Ton.
to a horse that was really good, Marzo, on the turf.
But
I mean, a couple
is
of the
it
ones.
a pedigree that's going to win first time out?
Well, I don't know. Graham is. The other thing is that Graham Motion, is he really going to run a horse 12 furlongs on the turf first time and embarrass himself?
No.
Right. So I'm gonna trust in Graham and the pedigree in a race where I don't want. Maybe this is just a cop out. I'm taking a first time starter with a big pedigree for a great trainer in a field where I don't want to bet anybody. How's that?
I can.
And I'll lose a few dollars on her. I'm okay with that.
I don't blame you. I think she's kind of one I want to see first before making a judgment. But like I said, she hasn't missed a beat since April. So fitness is probably not a question mark.
Well, I'm in. Sun-kissed soiree, Graham.
Sign up.
We're going to break after race number 5, the Chouvie. I tell this story all the time, but the first time I ever went to sales was when Chouvie's foal sold.
Oh, cool.
Her first foal was Tom Swift, who was bought by Sigmund and Viola Summer. Frank Martin trained, won the Seneca, which is a mile and 5/8 turf race we used to run up here. Turned a pretty good turf horse. Sold for $350,000. But the interesting thing about it was that it was the night that Richard Nixon resigned.
Oh, right. And you said that interrupted.
They interrupted the sale to play
Yep.
the
I remember you telling me
resignation
that, yeah.
speech. Anyhow, I always think of that when I see. I always think about it as what
It's
a
a vivid
great,
memory,
great
yeah.
horse Chouvie was.
Right.
I mean, she is one of the all-time greatest. Let's start with Raging Sea winning the Double Dog Dare, Dave Grenig's favorite stake name every year. I thought she had really taken a step forward in this race. A very good effort. Now, she didn't run very well in the Phipps. Better horses, but I wonder if she was a little compromised by the track being speed-friendly that day.
Sure.
And I feel like she's taken a step forward. I'm taking her on top, but I don't think it's an easy race by any stretch. You know, somebody was saying to me they thought this race wasn't good. I disagree. I think this is a very fun race this year.
It's kind of a race that doesn't have a superstar, but that there are horses that are very evenly matched. So I think that makes it very interesting.
And after Idiomatic's performance yesterday, that division is more wide open, depending on what Randomized does going forward. I
Right.
mean, obviously, in Bob's horse out in California, who is probably the best horse
Adair
at
Manor.
Dare Manor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
she's
and
the leader.
She can run Churchill now.
I know.
Do you think she knows? There's no races for her this year, but she can run there. Shotgun Hottie, the horse you have on top, and I have her third. I'm very interested in about this Scylla race, and I'll tell you something. It's an important
too.
race for Friday because a colt, the horse between horses, getting bumped around,
Yep.
is running in that very tough allowance race on Friday. Go ahead.
So she kind of got a little blind. Now we're going to see her be fairly brave and rally up the rail here, but turning for home, she kind of got in a little bit of a blind switch where everybody started to make their move, including Scylla, who was 4-5 this day, and therefore she kind of got behind the 8 ball, and Paco Lopez had no other choice, I would say, other than to go up the rail. And really, was she that enthusiastic about going up the rail?
They rarely are.
No. And then before that, yeah, it was a slower pace in the DuPont in which she was able to control that day, or not control that day, but at least sit on top of it. But I don't foresee anybody being that fast in here. Misty Vale will probably be close.
Venti Valentine's supposed to go.
Supposed to go.
But
So
she's
I
not
think
exactly
it
a
just
bullet.
puts Shotgun Hottie in the right spot.
I have no argument against her. Cherie's horses are running tremendously. Another firster winning for her. And that was a firster that if you read the Saratoga special, she had said some really good things about that horse. They paid 13-1.
Why were they betting the other horse? I didn't cover that race, but why were they betting the other horse?
I have no idea.
I
that
talked
was
to
the one I
Declan
used.
Carroll, who is her assistant up
Cherie
here,
said
who
told-
gallops and the whole barn thought the other one was better.
She told them in
one
the
that
Saratoga
won.
special a few days
Yeah.
ago that she really liked this horse. So
Yeah.
I was shocked at the price, and I just wish that Clement could have finished second in there. But that's what I get for relying on Christophe. I am very scared of Just Catherine. I want to show the start, both of it. She absolutely should have won this race, and I
Yep.
bet her, and I'm
Yep.
frustrated. But
Yep.
this is not sour grapes, because not only, and you see how bad it was, we'll show you the head-on, and you'll show you what happened. I mean, she was an hour the best in this race. It's not even discussable. She just gets completely slouted. And of course, it's because the winner of the race came out and caused the chain reaction.
Well,
the other
and
horse
plus
coming
she
in.
stumbles a little bit
Right.
too, which doesn't put her in a position. It puts her in the position to be just slammed and cut off.
And Manny, through somebody I know criticized Manny's ride, and I said, this is not Manny's fault. Manny was a victim in here, and there's nothing he could do. He had to make a wider run. And there's Irad sitting in the pocket and getting a great trip, as he often does, and barely beats her. But at the end of the day, this horse should have won easily, and she's probably better going longer. She's a big threat in here.
Well, some of her better her best performance was up here going 1.1 miles, and her second even going a mile here. So
Raging Sea ran better than she did that day, though. She had an inside position. Raging Sea had to go wide the whole way.
that is true. That is true.
Or it's at least debatable. It was close.
No, okay, but the point is that she likes it here. She's run well
she's
here at Saratoga,
big
and
player.
now she's got that race under her belt in which she showed that she still has talent, because her form in that Oaklawn, that was a weird Oaklawn race, wasn't it? It was like there were a lot of nice horses
Yes,
in there
that
that
just
didn't
didn't
show
show
up
up.
at
Yeah, I
all.
don't
mean,
care about
Shotgun
that
Hottie
race.
was in there; she was off a layoff. Whatever.
I bet her in there. I like this film. I'm a big fan of hers. I think she's really good.
Look, Misty Vale.
Well, you just like her because she's going to be a mommy.
Well, it does.
It's her last race, right?
Her last race in which she wasn't.
No, this is her last race. She's in full.
This
right?
is her
Yeah.
last race, right? But she was also in full in her last race. She did have an ideal setup.
And I know that from not from Nick Tamaro. Sorry, I couldn't resist that, Nick. Sorry, I apologize.
That's a long time ago, inside joke. Anyway, and yes, she had a perfect trip. Probably not that great of a field, though Corningstone was the favorite that day, and she just dismissed her quite easily.
She ran huge last time.
Watching her,
she ran
she
huge.
hits another gear.
She ran huge last time. You're getting no argument from me.
So being in full, it will increase a mare's hind end. It'll increase their strength in their hind end, and maybe she's taking to it. So I'm a little scared of her.
It's a fun race. Looking forward to
Really
today's
is.
Shoe V. We'll take a break. Maggie and I will cover the rest of the cards, starting the pick six after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
Maggie and I are back. I did want to mention, since it's Sunday and we've had the low rollers contest on Thursdays and Sundays past years, and they're very popular, and a number of people have come and asked me about them. There were some issues. We have a new tote system integrating it, so it's not going to happen this year, but we're confident that we'll be able to bring back the low rollers contest next year in 2025 at Saratoga. So we appreciate people's patience. We know there are a lot of loyal followers of that, and we hope to have it back next year, so we expect to. So that's the deal on the low rollers, race number 6. I'm very curious. Maggie did not pick her buddy Joe Sharp.
I
thought
knew
you might.
we were gonna go down this
thought
road.
I thought about that.
I should have.
You need to do a few more 2-year-old previews with Joe Sharp. It should really be Maggie and Joe Sharp's 2-year-old previews.
We only did one, so you don't have to.
I thought there were
listen to that
2.
again. No, we only did
Oh,
one.
I saw the same one twice.
Yeah, multiple times.
That's not your
she
fault.
She got a lot of air.
That's not your fault. She had a lot of air, and then there was a lot of air between her and the horse who won the race. But she also ran to a buzzsaw.
Maya, I did an entire barn tour with Maya, and he didn't show me that one.
Maya, you lied to her? I'm shocked.
He was more interested
I'm shocked.
in showing me the horses that he
That ran
got
8th?
named. No, got named after Haley Welch. You would not know who that is.
Well,
and
who is
it's
it?
probably a good thing.
Who is it?
It's a TikTok sensation. We'll just leave it at that.
Shocking, I don't know that as well. We'll take a look at when Love takes over. This is her race 3 back, and I think you and I just basically had the feeling that Ray's, claimed her for $25,000. She won this starter. She got a muddy track over her head at Pimlico. She tried the turf, and now she's back on dirt, and she's just supposed to be better than these. I don't have anything else to add to that. I don't know if you do.
And I mean, look, when running first off the claim in not ridiculous, no, I don't want to say the ridiculous spots. He wasn't that, big of a price, but the allowance races, the starter allowance, he beat Noda, who's in great form right now.
I agree.
So in this spot, this horse just makes too much sense to me and feels a lot more trustworthy than Brighter Days Ahead.
I agree. Now, Brighter Days Ahead, I think, was a little bit interesting, though Joe Sharp's numbers, first time for a tag, this was first time in a claiming race, they're not very good. They're not good.
7 for 65 in dirt sprints.
Yeah, he's
with a
1 for 15. 1 for 15. Oh, non-maidens. This is something David taught me. You got to go non-maidens. And there's a thing on the winners, on the winners tab in Formulator, on the second from the top on the left side, and the bottom says non-maidens. Once you get rid of them, you get rid of maiden special and maiden claimers, and it's very interesting because that's such a good stat for so many trainers that it will screw up your stats on first time for a tag.
Exactly.
But I do think that she's dangerous. He's dangerous dropping down because, Maggie, I don't want anybody else here. I tried to make a case for Warrior Richard. Obviously ran a good enough fig last time, and I don't think he's impossible. We saw the race the same way.
Yeah, you look through the running lines for Brighter Days Ahead, and he has faced some really nice horses. I mean, even last time was Surveillance.
Yep, Dennington.
Dennington. I looked back, that instant coffee race. Do you look at who's in there? Arthur's Ride, Croupy, Rocket Ken, WNL. Like,
wow.
one of the most
Really?
live races.
Really?
Yeah.
Instant Coffee ran in like one of the Louisiana races and sort of disappeared, right?
Yeah, the LeConte.
I feel like he
won the
didn't
LeConte?
have a long. I got to look him up.
No,
I don't think he had a long career for Brad. Brad trained him, right?
Yeah.
Didn't he pay a big price that day?
Yeah, he was
like $29 or something. I think
13
Beyer
to
picked him. I think it was that day that Beyer picked like 47 winners on Jocko Bull Day, and he picked that horse. Yeah, and he beat Arthur's Ride, who I'm assuming will run in the Whitney, which is in 2 weeks. And those races closed yesterday, so the nom should be on the website any day or any moment now. Race number 7. I really didn't have a lot to say about race number 7, but we'll take a look at the workout from. I'm hoping you do. You'll be smart. You pick the same as me.
I find these races fascinating.
No, I just didn't have a lot. Nothing jumped off the page at me in this race. Is that fair?
Okay, this is yesterday. The horse. Not the song or Saturday. Goes 10-2, which, to be fair, is a little bit on the slower side. But just kind of has that bigger loping type of stride where it fits this condition well. Now, going 3 back and watching her workout on XBTV over the turf course, she's at 3 lengths off of Arteta, who isn't that good. Is probably more of a maiden claiming type.
But not a 2-year-old.
But not a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old who has a lot of experience. Got right up sides with not being asked and went well clear on the gallop out. So
she's a half to Rose for Deborah and 4 horses to try the turf, and they're not all sprinters. They're all winners, and I think 2 of them were good going longer. So this horse does have the pedigree to go longer.
And George Weaver, he's been good.
He's pretty good
with the 2-year-olds, just point blank.
What about the Chad Brown Resolute Racing horse, Virgin Colada?
So. This one is a daughter of More Than Ready. So if you go back a generation, the dams actually have to Catholic boy, but that's like the really only standout type of horse in the pedigree. Watching the workout last time from the gate did break a touch slower, so from that inside post position really doesn't matter going a mile and a 16th. I don't think that much. But finished well in hand, which I like to see with horses that are more suited to the turf. You don't want to see them struggling in the latter stages of a work. And the workout DRF Clocker report did say that she was on the outside of Ballerina Dworo, an unraced 2-year-old, and not going quite as well as that one on the turf. Ballerina Dworo.
I don't know. Never heard of her. I know of one, I think, decent turf horse, but I don't remember their names. Rare Art. Can we get Tony Dutrow a win, please?
Yeah, seriously.
Your ex-roommate and friend of ours, good guy, all-around good guy. Didn't you stay with them the first summer you came to Saratoga?
No.
Oh, that was John De Silva. Sorry.
Okay, here we go.
No, I thought
you are bringing up some ghosts from the past today.
No, it's not a ghost. I remember everything. I thought you stayed with Tony one summer.
No,
oh, okay.
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
No.
But is an old friend. They're close friends.
I mean,
right.
going back to Maryland days, he was
Tony's the
he was
greatest. I love
running
Tony.
partner of my parents. But I agree with
Plenty
you.
of turf pedigree in this horse. Half the 4 turf winners. I mean,
According to the clock reports, especially the one 2 back, and I think you want that penultimate breeze to be the best one.
Okay.
And according to the clock report, was very good back on July 1st.
all right, we've got Sharp Smile. You know something? Brad Cox has extremely good numbers. I think it's in Saratoga in turf routes. First-time stars. I think he's 2 for 4 in Saratoga with 3 hitting the board and a big ROI because he was 2 for 4. This is overall 2-year-old first-time stars in turf routes. He's got exceptionally good numbers. But you know who doesn't have good numbers in turf routes?
Wesley Ward.
Did you look this up?
I didn't look it up, but I think I knew it. Yeah.
Even with the top hat.
But what's weird?
How about
that
that?
is brilliant.
0 for 15 with 1 hitting the board. The guy's great with his firsters going short, but this one is a gun runner. But is there even that much turf pedigree? The second day is Summerlee, who won the Kentucky Oaks.
I agree with you. She's half to Fuete, who handled the turf but was a better dirt sprinter. There really is not much pedigree at all. Now, again, clock report saying that last breeze was pretty good on the turf, but I don't know. There were too many negatives to say that this horse probably will show speed, but I don't know if we'll see.
You know
her.
what the coolest thing about this horse is? It's TNT Stud, and they own the Calumet Silks, the Devil Red.
Oh, that's
They own
right.
those silks. I like seeing
Ah.
the Raw to Zanamo. We good?
Yeah, I agree with Sharp Smile. I've liked her workouts that I've watched too.
Yeah,
At least the ones on
I'm
the
scared
dirt.
of her. I
Yeah.
thought about putting her on top.
And then, the morning line favorite's Wild and Free for Todd, though.
Okay, have at it.
Where's
the turf pedigree in this one?
is the first. If you
Into
go
Mystic's
back,
okay, but the turf sire is solid.
Dam's Fool to Bolo, who did win the Shoemaker Mile.
Right. I have vague memories of Bolo. Who trained
Carla
Bolo?
Gaines.
Carla Gaines. Well, Irad's on it. I think that's why David made the horse favorites, Todd and Irad.
Yeah,
I
they
won't
always
be
get over bet.
I won't be betting that one, but doesn't mean it can't win. Race number 8 at a mile and a 16th. I have been looking forward to this race, and I want to talk about First Time in Forever and Boxed Wine. First Time in Forever may win, but I'm a little sick of her. She's had her
Yep.
chances. She's had some bad luck. I believe for both these horses, the mile and 16th is better than the mile and an 8th. But why do I like Boxed Wine? Well, I actually thought she ran really well 2 back.
She made
And
the first move
I
into
just
this
think she
one,
got
too.
so much the wrong trip in this race. And I'm not blaming Kendrick, but she was basically in a 3-wide chase the whole time on a runoff speed in a race that collapsed. And the race was probably a little too far for her. And she just got tired late in a race that was totally collapsing. And I think drawing inside today in post 2, it'll be a lot easier for Kendrick to sort of get a comfortable position. I thought she ran well enough 2 back to be competitive here. And I think things conspired against her last time. I bet her last time. I'm betting her today. And I don't love First Time in Forever, but like you, I think she can win. I put her third.
You have to respect her because she does seem to show up overall,
Correct.
but she's just, I don't know, she should have gotten the job done on several occasions and just hasn't.
Here's the horse that you put on top, whose name I spelled wrong in the replays, but this is Awesome Check.
Awesome
You
Check.
said him at 4 in the morning. You sometimes make mistakes.
I don't blame you. I know that it was a supersonic pace going back to the Wild Applause, and she just kind of clunked along for 4th. But
Those horses are better than she is.
Way
better. In
better.
this field.
2 and 3 back, the Teppan and Chelsea Flower, better horses
Yep.
than what she faces here. And I like that she got that one race. She showed improvement, at least from a speed figure standpoint, going from 2 to 3. I don't necessarily love these 3-year-olds facing these older, more accomplished New York breds.
It's
But at the end of the day,
July.
the older ones are just who they are, and there's so much more upside with a horse like Awesome Check. So I do like her today. I get what you're saying with Boxed Wine. I didn't use her,
It's fine.
but I saw the same things you did.
The one problem I have with Awesome Check, and I love Horacio. I think he's a sensational trainer. I really do. I don't think he is. I know he is the Teppan's a little on the phony side for this reason. That late in the season, I think the turf got really favoring forwardly placed horses. I think not because it moved them up as much, maybe as it hurt closers. And Memorialize won that race was sort of a cinch on paper.
Right.
The Grand Motion horse, Broker Maiden here. She
Yeah,
went on that trip in
absolutely.
Colonial Downs
Just up Philly.
that we all out-wised-guysed herself by
Yep,
picking against.
yep,
She went
yep.
6 to 1 and galloped.
Manny.
And so I'm not sure how much that stands up. But even her Chelsea Flower's not a bad effort. And when you're running 68 to 70 as a 2-year-old, they can become 80s. And
Well, she almost did in her Wild Applause.
and it was a good setup there. But I'll tell you something. Oversubscribed. Should have won yesterday. She was best yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from the winner. She ran well, and obviously Mark's having a good meet. But oversubscribed, all I'm saying about that is that she showed that it wasn't a total fluke because of the fast pace.
Exactly.
So I think it's a legitimate race. I have no argument with that.
Did you get... Sorry, go ahead.
I liked Lakeside Getaway in a race that got rained off early. I think opening day, maybe.
Okay.
And I thought that was a softer spot than this one. I just thought there were tougher horses in here. She was my, 5th pick or something.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, I thought, now we'll see what Busy Morning does, but she's inside and she could kind of force the hand of that horse and at least get a good position along the rail. And I thought she was pretty game in defeat. You know, she ended up fourth that day, but she was
far
only
away her
beaten
best
half
race.
Right.
And Mike's horses, Trombetta, that is, have been extremely live in New York. Now, this is downstate, but he won the stake here on the Intercontinental. So he's in the Belmont Stakes.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That stake, by the way, this week came up. That stake, have you looked at probably Thursday? The Older Filly and Mare Turf Sprint? Oh, it's a war.
Is it? I haven't looked at it
It's
yet.
a terrific race.
Oh, good.
Whatever it's called. I don't know. Crest.
Crest, yeah.
It's named after a horse that's running now.
Yeah, go figure.
Isn't that cool? Please, don't name horses after stake winners, even if you
I
can.
can't believe they let it
They should. Well, yeah, I blame everybody.
Especially,
I blame everybody for
races
everything.
named...
Today is also put up or shut up. It's in a way for first time forever, but at least Roagna's going to be a better price. Roagna was very visually impressed breaking her maiden. She didn't run great in her return, but she did have a wide trip. She's had wide trips. She hasn't had the right flow. And now she draws inside, and barring getting blocked, today is the day she can win. She doesn't have to do that much work for position.
Yep.
Yeah, I think she's very dangerous today.
She's been hampered by these wide trips.
Yeah.
And her
I'm still not sure how
efforts.
good she is.
I
she's
agree
going to be
with
6.
you.
She's 6-1 on the line. So at least today you get paid. She's much shorter prices the other day. It's a fun race.
It is a fun race.
All right, race number 9. Only 3 left. See how many are going to be left here at race number 9. This was the one. Think of how much little respect I had for the horse of this race. I picked a horse trained by Tom Amis. Let's look at her finishing second. And, I feel with Tom's horses, and we've seen it this meet, I just feel like a lot of his 2-year-olds, they run much better second time. Think of the one that won last week. That horse looked sort of like this horse closing first time out, and that horse wired the field.
Yep. Look. In Atomic City, she was favored. She set the pace, albeit a quick one, and was able to last. Now she's
for
going to
your
be
man Eddie
closing
Keneally,
here.
who's a tough trainer with these 2-year-olds when they're bet, especially.
Always dangerous, and she's the only one that made up any ground.
Yep.
So I respect her. I didn't put her on top.
You don't like Tom as much as I do. That's what it really is.
I picked him. Yeah. Well, I got sucked into the first-time starter who showed speed, but
Tom was very
obviously will benefit.
Tom was very upset. I told him, "Don't worry, you're worse on the air."
I'm not going to touch that. But no, look, of the horses who have run, Black Dog has run the fastest, relatively speaking.
I don't like the horse that you picked at all.
Now, I know.
That was a terrible race.
But it was, I wonder, I know it's a slow figure. It's not a good race, but she was bet that day. And
big pedigree, big purchase price.
Right. And we know she has speed.
Salty won the Acorn, or was she second? I think she won. I think I bet her. She wasn't second to Monomoy Girl, was she?
Yes. Wasn't she?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
She was in the
But
Acorn.
I did like her a lot.
Remember watching it at the office at Belmont.
Yeah. So I went with her, just maybe she wires the field. Now, I don't know how many times we're going to catch lightning in a bottle with these Mark Cassidy second-time starters, but they have been very dangerous throughout these first 2 weeks.
But they've all figured. It's not like he's winning with horses that didn't figure. I don't think that this horse better get better in all likelihood than the miserable. Not that anybody here has run particularly fast.
Well, that's what I mean.
Well, Tom ran a 57. Is a lot faster.
Okay, so Tom's horse has run the fastest. But everybody else has run around that same number, and she did it back. I know it was the last day of May, so maybe I'm splitting hairs, but it feels like the further you go back in time, the slower those races are going to be for these 2-year-olds. just naturally. It's how it always is.
I don't know, man. This horse was bet so heavily and didn't really run that well. I hear you. I'm against.
Okay.
Double Cappuccino, a horse you and I both in there. I thought about putting her on top.
Yeah,
the problem
she's
I
been
had is
workout. Clocker reports have said she's been working really well with blinkers on.
really, there you go.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if she was bet last time or she was IRAD bet. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
she was like just, and that was against Complexion, who I think was around 7-5 or something, somewhere in
Yeah.
the 7-5, 8-5 range. And the one thing I'll also say is I think the rail was very good on this
She's
day.
wide.
And she was wide around the track. So I think she's super
And
dangerous.
she
Let me
showed
say
a
something else.
little bit of a turn of foot, and then she kind of got green and laying on her rival to the inside.
Isn't
so
she
I
going to
just
be
think
speed with blinkers on if she's live? And doesn't that hurt Salted?
Yeah, probably.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, but I'm saying if she's live today, it's going
Yeah.
to, because Salted projects, at least from what we've seen these horses, to be in front.
Exactly.
And I'm just not that sure. What about Kiss Me Slow, the Todd horse? Todd
Chad.
horse, excuse me.
Yeah, so I watched her last breeze. It was with Off Script, who is a New York bred, entered in a New York bred maiden special weight on Friday here. And maybe just a touch lesser than that filly. She was on the inside. She broke well in hand. She was going easy enough and then just slightly outworked at the end. But she broke well, and I think that's always a feather in one's cap. In
You know what
these races.
family she's from?
Teresa Z, who's a
But
multi.
she's from the Personal Ensign family.
Correct.
My Flag is the
My
third
Flag,
dam.
yep.
It's more
yeah.
distance on the dam side.
It is
though.
more distance.
And this is, I think this is the first horse I've seen Chad Brownhouse have for Vinny Viola, St. Elias Stable, right? I don't
know.
I know he's never had him in the past, and I think this. His first
I think
2-year-old.
I
I think
saw
the
it.
first 2-year-old dirt horse he might have run was Seth's horse yesterday. I think
Yeah.
that's the first, right?
Yes.
I don't think he's run a dirt 2-year-old other than
I
that
agree.
horse. We'll see what happens. Interesting ninth race. Always like seeing the 2-year-olds. You'll be gone though.
Yes.
You'll
I
be
got to go
long
downstate this Sunday.
Really?
Yeah. Doctor's appointments tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Think they can help you?
Probably not.
Okay, let me know.
I will.
Give me a call. Race number 10. I really liked Paddington in race number 10, and Maggie and I scratched in the same picks. I was going to take a big stand against Black Rain. I don't feel as strongly now without a horse that I really liked in here, Black Rain. Oh, Black Dog was the race before it. I was looking at the replays.
Yeah.
And this is Black.
Rain finishing second.
Oh,
to
that's General Partner.
General
I'm sorry.
Partner, yeah.
It's been a long
You're right.
9 days of racing.
He
Lost
is
to a
speed,
killer in
but
here.
Got to do it from the outside. No, General Partner is a horse
Got-
that I've always liked from day one. And it was good to see him come back and win like he did on Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. The problem is with Black Rain, does he really want to go this far?
So I'm wondering.
Now he has to clear from the far outside, going 9 furlongs. And it feels like there's some horses that probably aren't quite as fast as him, but at least they're going to press
Fast
him
enough.
to go.
I agree.
Press him to go that have more of a bottom in them than he does. But it's Todd. And so many times he's able to overcome
And
horses
he's
that look
come out of fast
disoriented.
races, and I'm not going
Right.
to be shocked. And if Paddington was in here, I was going to take a stand with him. But without him in there, it's not like I completely. There was a
I
bee
look like a
bothering
flower.
us at dinner the other night, and now this one comes along. The one I don't like is Rocketeer.
Doesn't he look just a little bit slow on paper?
Yeah, let's watch his Keeneland race. I just don't think I had hoped Harton would be good. A friend of mine is one of the owners and stuff, and I don't know about that yet win. I just think he's not that fast.
He was.
Abel Tasman beat Salty. Thank you, Teresa. Abel
Well done.
Tasman beat her. By the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, he was floated a bit wide in that first turn in his last start in the Matt win.
Right.
And the winner, Society Man, got a great trip, ultimately proved best. But he was going to outfinish that day, too. He's another one.
Mile and an
Does he
eighth
really
here.
want to go this far? At least
wasn't
now in
was
his
13
career?
Arrows was that the horse that was more of was a sprinter? Was that a Larry Jones horse?
Where are you right now?
The Dam of Rocketeer. Was that
13
a
Arrows.
a Rick Porter, Larry Jones horse, 13 Arrow? Can you look it up?
Yeah, I can. Give me a
I
second.
feel like it was. I agree. I know it's a Curlin, but he's a Curlin. I'm not a big fan.
Well, and then you have the horses that come out of the unanimous consent race, which Paddington, I'm sure you saw the same thing as I did. He was wide.
He's the one you wanted out of that race.
Right. And the Rudy horse got the ultimate best trip
Yep.
that day.
Arguably, Grandpa's kid really got the best.
Best
Both
trip.
of them got good trips.
Right,
So
saving ground and off the pace.
That's why I don't want. And I just sort of I land on Brigade Commander. I scratched into him because
it was Larry Jones.
It
yeah.
was right. It was Rick Porter, right? It was Fox.
Yeah.
Fox. Yeah.
Fox Hill.
It's a sprinter, right?
Yeah. Won some.
I think it's a half to a really good horse.
Won some mediocre
Whatever.
races.
Yeah.
Stop.
I still
Stop.
got it.
The
Maggie.
second dam is very good. Stop traffic.
That's how I remember it. It's that
Yeah.
family. It's stop
Yeah.
traffic. That so Jose has a half. It's half to cross traffic.
Right.
And yeah, she was. I saw her breaker maiden cross
That's right.
stop
I remember
traffic.
that all now.
Rick,
Did you?
Rick Schosberg trained her before Mandela ended up
Oh,
out in
wow.
California. Rick trained her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She won at I want to say at Belmont, paid $9.
I'll tell you.
9 and change.
Yep.
940 or something.
By 5.
Yeah.
Paid $340.
Rick, she paid 940. She wasn't. No, she was like 340 to 1.
Yeah. Yes.
she
Yes.
paid
Yes. Sorry.
880.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah.
Rick was a great trainer the first time stars going back. I don't
Marie's
trust horse
mom.
1 for 12, seconds and thirds. I like the 3. I don't want to bet the 8. I don't like the 6. This is the only horse I can take. That's where I am with this horse.
With the 5?
Yeah.
Yeah. First time gelding, he was stuck to the rail, on the rail throughout there, going back to his last start. And I just thought, at least he feels like a horse that wants the 2 turns too, and he has more of a bottom in him than many of these.
And he's going to be forward. I'll take
Mm-hmm.
him. I don't want the others. I didn't like anybody else. I'm rooting for Moore's Law, but I'm getting close to giving up on him.
Yeah.
Did I steal my pick in race number 11 from you?
Yes.
I
you
thought-
jerk.
I thought it was David Aragona because I texted you tonight and I said, I'm stealing your horse in the last race. And I said, Lock and Key. He goes, not my horse. He goes, I think that's Maggie's horse. I think Maggie liked that horse in the show with you. And I went,
I knew you'd
right, it
do
was a
that.
Sunday.
I knew when I put that.
You know,
horse
you
as
were.
a- I
We'll
guess,
show the race. You were
because
right.
I remember you saying, "Whoa, Maggie, I don't." Well, before you're like, "I don't know what she sees," but
You
know.
thought the horse was okay
Yeah.
going along on the turf, and I don't disagree with you. Now, this horse didn't get a bad trip in here, but might have got a little bit lost early in here, and I'm not going to argue
It
that.
was more forwardly dominated
Yeah,
too. And
I'm not going to argue that Frankie Dettori is a good pickup for this horse. And
And I think Frankie's going to get him closer. I
Right.
didn't think he'd be that far back.
what about bar 14 though, going to Pat Reynolds' barn?
Yeah, he's dangerous to wire him.
Yep, I
I
thought he
think
ran
he's
really
better
well
a touch
here.
shorter though.
Yep.
And that's the one thing I will say. You know,
I thought I was
Mile,
stealing David's
yes.
horse, then I stole your horse when I'm on with you. But you were right. You were right. So you sold me.
I can't give up on him now.
No.
With what he did in
It'll
that
be a
last
square
effort.
price.
Exactly.
It's a fun race.
This is a fun race. You went.
Well, let's have a better lucky
We-
than good. It's so hard to win your conditions 3 races in a row.
Wait, hold the phone. You were so against this horse.
I
last time.
hated this horse last time. I would have booked every cent on him at 11 to 1. He really improved. His maiden win was awful. His maiden win was awful. He beat a bad
Don't
field with a
disagree with
perfect
you.
trip. He ran last time, though.
He did. He's
He can
a
win.
horse that I feel like they've always kind of had high hopes for because he's a very good-looking horse, and have probably just had to be patient. And maybe
He
is on
ran
the
last time. He
upswing.
could absolutely win here. I prefer him to the other Clement. Liar's
I didn't
Poker has
use
gotten
him,
good trips.
But I
don't
just
think.
thought there were some interesting horses. But he'll be a square enough price.
Hush of a Storm is really better in synthetic. When Hush of the Storm won here, and I bet him that day, Flavian put him on the lead in a paceless race. I'm not sure, but I think the speed scratched the gate. And Flavian realized there was no speed race. I know.
Ooh, you might be right about
'cause
that.
I bet him that day. I remember thinking, wow, he got a great ride in there.
Yeah.
And he beat Barrage, but he is okay in the turf. I just wish he had a better post.
Right, that's the drawback. But I'm always, whether it's right or wrong, I'm always going to lean to these horses that have multiple wins.
That's
in
fair.
these types of conditions. You know,
And Bill
he's
Morey
running for
wins.
the 45,000 today. I agree with you. The post does him absolutely no favors. I'm hoping for some Flavian magic.
So we look at Neural Network and
Yeah,
one of the
he's
early
the-
clouds to win for Seth.
He's kind of the wild card in here, right? You know, his one turf race, it was good against Open Company in the Woodhaven, but now he's going to have to come back off that long layup.
But Chad's got crazy
Crazy.
good numbers off long
Exactly.
layups.
He's funny. He's a horse that looks so much like Cloud Computing. too.
Really?
Yeah.
Cloud Computing was a great looking horse.
Oh, he's
Like a
gorgeous.
big hunk of
You know,
mahogany out there,
almost-
right?
Yeah, he was
I think it was
almost like
amazing.
he was almost black and just just that chiseled, classic-looking thoroughbred.
In our lives in racing, there have been a lot of highs and some lows, but you remember the highs well, and you certainly have your share. cloud computing winning the Preakness and being there with Seth was
Yeah.
one of the greatest
Like that.
moments of my racing life, actually. That's unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, coming
Yeah.
off these long layoffs, I don't want to ignore it, and he draws well on
Yep.
the rail.
Yep. I could not agree with you more.
All right.
He scares me.
Have a
That
good
it?
trip downstate.
Oh, thank
When are you
you.
coming back?
Tuesday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah. Tom took the girls. I'm flying solo.
Really?
Yeah, that's a rarity.
Should I start texting him a lot,
Yeah.
annoying him during yesterday?
Yeah,
I'm
he'll
in.
be so annoyed.
I'm in. I'll sign up for that. All right. I'm just about completely ridiculous, irrelevant things and just annoy him throughout the entire day. I'm on for that. That's my job. That's what I like to do in life. You should be heading over to NyraBet. That's what you should be doing with your life. NyraBets.com. Use the promo code SPA250. We will match the $250 of your initial deposit. We have track stats. Check them out. Matthew went down to Monmouth yesterday.
He is
I'm
a
guessing
gamer.
I'm guessing you didn't take a private plane. Money back guarantee, $10 to win in the first race here. And Del Mar, you finish second or third to get your money back. You have the pick 4 somewhere in the card. Maybe it's race 5. I don't know. Definitely in races 2 and 8. 11 race card. Race 3 and 8. Excuse me. Race 2 is the pick or first pick 5. First and 3. Cross country pick 5 as well. 3 here, 2 at Monmouth. YouTube and apps from 1 to 2. 2 to 3 on FS2, 3 to 4 on FS1, 4 to 6:30 on FS2, then back to the apps and YouTube for the last half hour. If you've got that straight, you are already smarter than Maggie and I.
Yeah,
Not that
we've
that's
got
that hard, but-
we got Liza Hendricks and Joe
the
Clancy
first
on for the
race.
steeplechase race.
Excited for the jump race, excited
Yeah.
to see them. Now, I have not actually seen Joe since I got here.
Oh no, I've seen Joe. I haven't
Joe.
seen Liza.
I've seen Liza. I've seen Liza
Okay.
quite a few times,
Yeah.
actually. But I have not seen Joe.
I've seen
And
Joe in
he's
the morning.
one of
on
my
that
all-time
side.
favorite people.
Yeah.
He's the best. I
Yeah,
love Joe.
love
And
Joe.
those guys, what they do with the Saratoga Special is just,
I mean,
it's such
it
a
is
cool paper.
a labor of love.
It's just amazing.
It really
it's such a
is.
huge part of Saratoga. It really is. And I'm so proud to know those guys and know the job they do. And we
Yeah,
love having Joe on
such
the
great
shows.
writers, too.
Yeah, it's also gives
Him
us
and Tom Law.
him and Tom Law, his brother Sean, obviously, and everybody works there. And it's also been a factory for people in the industry. Travis Stone was an intern with them. Gabby
Yeah.
was an intern with them.
Yeah, they wouldn't hire me though.
I got her first. See you later. Frank Mirabelli's up next.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.